Hi, and welcome to Bakes and Blenders. Today we're going to be making this incredible honey, goat cheese, and pistachio tart. We've got a delicious pistachio tart shell filled with a goat cheese mousse and topped with crushed pistachios and pomegranate seeds. It's incredibly delicious and actually pretty easy to make, so let's get started. First thing we've got to do is make our pistachio tart shell. Begin by pulling out all of your ingredients so that you are ready to go. I ground my pistachios in a food processor till they were nice and fine, though a few larger chunks are perfectly okay. Sift your flour, sugar, cornstarch, and salt into the bowl of a stand mixer. Then add your ground pistachios and mix on low until everything is combined. You'll find the recipes used in this video in the description box below. Now you can add your cold cubed butter, honey, and vanilla to the bowl and mix on low. You're going to mix the dough until the butter is mostly incorporated and your dough is clumping together. Next time I might add the honey after the butter has had a little bit of time to incorporate, just because the honey did make the dough awfully sticky awfully quickly. That being said, everything did work out, so, you know. Now we're going to use our dough to line the round 9-inch tart pan. Add your tart dough to your pan. I did this in chunks to kind of spread it out, and then basically just press the dough into an even layer all over your pan. The dough is quite sticky, so you may want to try using a spatula or a spoon or anything to help press that dough in, and you have just enough to get a perfect tart shell. Now you may notice that there are some streaks of butter in the dough, and that is perfectly okay because we don't want to overmix our dough and it's going to bake up perfectly. Alright, let's speed this process up a bit. As you're pressing your dough into the pan, make sure that you build up the sides so that they aren't too thin, and you want to make sure that you're using your finger to press it into the corners of the pan so that you have nice sharp edges. You can find links to the products that I've used in the description box below this video. When you're happy with how your tart shell is looking, prick the bottom of your shell multiple times with a fork and place it in the freezer for 30 minutes. Bake your frozen pistachio tart shell for about 18 to 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You want the tart shell to be completely baked and lightly golden brown. Place your sugar, honey, and water in a small saucepan and stir to combine. Over medium heat, bring the mixture to a boil and cook for 1 minute. Then you can set the syrup aside to cool for 5 to 10 minutes while we get started on the rest of the goat cheese mousse. Place your cubed cream cheese and goat cheese in a microwave-safe bowl. Place that in the microwave for 30 seconds on 50% power, then give it a good stir. You're going to do this a total of 2 or 3 times, stirring well after each burst in the microwave. We want to get our cheese mixture to at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit. We also want it to be smooth and pretty melted before we add our sugar honey syrup. Once your cheese is ready, go ahead and add that syrup and mix with your spatula. I really should have added the syrup slowly, stirring well so that I wouldn't have had so many lumps, but if you do have a lumpy mixture, it's not a big deal. Use your spatula to kind of smooth out any lumps that you can. And if you really are bothered by the lumps, you could pass this mixture through a strainer and try and press out any of the remaining lumps. I did not do this and it did not cause any big issues. Set your cheese mixture aside. Now take your cold heavy whipping cream and we're going to whip that to soft to medium peaks. I like to do that by getting things going with an electric hand mixer, but I don't want to overmix, so once it starts to feel a bit thickened, I like to switch to my balloon whisk and do it by hand. Now we're going to very carefully fold our whipped cream into our cheese mixture. So transfer that whipped cream to your other bowl and begin to very gently mix the ingredients together. Take your spatula, go around the bowl, kind of pull that cheese mixture up and over the whipped cream. Work your way around the bowl. Every now and then you're going to cut through the center and fold those ingredients that are on the bottom of the bowl on top. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see more of my videos. We don't want to knock out all that air from the whipped cream, so again, be careful, and once everything is well combined, we are ready to fill our cooled pistachio tart shell. My pistachio tart shell is completely cool, and I put it on a cake turntable just to make this super duper easy. Add your goat cheese mousse to the tart shell and use an offset spatula or just a regular spatula to smooth it into a nice even layer. Now place your tart in the fridge for at least 3 hours or overnight to completely set. Now that my honey goat cheese and pistachio tart is completely chilled and all set up, I am going to decorate it. I've got pistachios, some that are ground very fine and others that are just roughly chopped, and I've got delicious pomegranates. I used the finely ground pistachios to kind of give a shape to my decoration, just a circle around the edge of the tart. Then I went back in with my roughly chopped pistachios and kind of filled that out a bit more. As delicious as this looks, it needed a pop of color. I used the pomegranates to add pops of color and flavor to the edge of the tart. In my mind, this tart looked like a beautiful holiday wreath, and those pomegranates were the little bits of Christmas ornaments and decorations that just bring it to life. When you're done, give it a good look over. If there's any bare spots, anything that needs a little touching up, add some more pistachios or pomegranates as needed. And now your honey, goat cheese, and pistachio tart is ready to eat. This tart was absolutely fantastic. That pistachio crust has so much flavor. I love buttery pistachios, and there's a little bit of salt in there. It's so delicious. And then on top of that, you have a super light and fluffy goat cheese mousse. It's very subtle in flavor, but it's got a nice tang paired with the sweetness of the honey. It's delicious. And then having those pomegranates when you get towards the end of your slice, it just adds a burst of flavor, quite literally, and it was phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed this recipe video. If you did, you might like to see some of my other stuff up on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Happy baking!